Options were just picked up on both Kalil and Harrison Smith. I'm going to start this off with Harrison Smith since he's more Pro Bowl caliber than Kalil at this point in his career. Smith, I really wasn't too surprised with all. You can make the case he should have been a Pro Bowler last year, but he wasn't because 7-9 for Minnesota last year. Then he actually, statistically, he had a better season than Earl Thomas, which I think is one of the very few safeties you can actually put above Harrison in this league in a whole, like as a whole. There's not too many better than him. He's probably a top 5, top 10 kind of safety, especially now that he's just barely hitting his prime with Mike Zimmer. Oh, sorry. He is. I think he's going to actually make it there next year because I think we may have a winning season next year. I don't know about playoffs yet, but I think we can actually have a winning year. I know, looking at the schedule, it doesn't look very likely to have like a great year, like 11-5, 12-4. But I can see us going like 9-7, 10-6, 8-8 at the very least. I think we can pull off 11 in the best case scenario at this point, but like barring injuries and all the other stuff that happens like during the season, like Smith is going to be very, very key to this defense next year. Which with him, I think it's probably a top 5, and without him, they'll probably still be around 10 or 15 in that range. But I think having Smith roaming over the top there is going to be a pushing point for this defense. So that was a great move. The one that is kind of questionable is Matt Kalil, but I actually like them picking this up because imagine like that would mean next year will be his contract year if we were not to pick this up. If he were to have if he's going to go back to his rookie form this year, he is going to be a Pro Bowl caliber left tackle at the age of 26, and we're going to have to we're going to be panicking to get this deal done. We're probably going to overpay him from that point to keep him away from other teams. So, like, if he's to have this breakout year, we have a year to get this long-term thing done over that span of the year. He's not going to move or anything like that, so I like that because it pretty much gives us an insurance on it. He's very, very safe with that because even if he's not that, if he's not that great next year, I think we can still kind of get rid of him, especially since he's kind of become expendable with this draft that we just had, which I recapped in my last video from yesterday, which didn't get uploaded till today because things slow. But anyway, with this draft class, we added 3 offensive tackles. I think at least 1 or 2 of these guys are going to end up flipping guard, which I don't know if Clemmings can switch to guard, but I wouldn't be too surprised if we were to try it because he's only played offense for 2 years anyway. So we can probably flip him from a tackle to a guard very easily. And I also think, the one I think will switch to guard is Shepard out of Alabama that we drafted in the 7th round. He seems like a swing tackle backup guard to me. Kind of like he's like a younger Berger, in my opinion. Nothing too fancy about him. So I think he'll switch into guard, but like I said with Kalil not being the best, like if he's not going to be the high quality player we know he can be, we can put a Tyrus Thompson in there now, a TJ Clemmings maybe, even though I think Clemmings is more of a right tackle anyway, if we're gonna play him somewhere. Like he's more of a right tackle. I think that's more. I don't know if the plan is to eventually fill him in for a load hold. I don't know if that's the thing going on there, but he might be pushing that there. And I also don't think Tyrus Thompson's actually going to be pushing Kalil as much as we think he probably should be. I know there were some teams that said they had Tyrus Thompson a top 3, top 4 kind of like not pick like round, like a second or third round kind of pick. Some of the teams did, but obviously they didn't like him enough to take him before the 6th. So I don't think I think there's talent there in Tyrus Thompson, but I don't know like if he can push him for that job kind of. I think Tyrus is going to be the end up backup to Kalil this upcoming season here because he's a left tackle with a right tackle body, which is very very rare in itself. He's very like I think future on the years, I think it's gonna be between Thompson and Clemmings for the right tackle spot because I kind of think Kalil will actually start to turn this around a little bit this year because he said he was worried more about the knee. Hopefully these aren't just excuses by him, and he'll be good to go. Hopefully, we can only hope at this point. He's been very inconsistent, like because Kalil did have that little stretch towards the end of the year where he was actually very good, only allowing like 1 or 2 sacks, I believe, over the last 6 games. But he allowed about 11 or 12 throughout the rest of the season, which is the problem there. Like, you see this very up and down thing with him. He's not very, like, he can't be relied upon, which is why I think you saw us draft 3 offensive tackles. In case he starts to really, like, suck it up again, we have loads of options this time as opposed to last year when he wasn't doing so well, and we just kind of looked at each other like, well, we don't have anyone else to play. So, there you go. That's what you get. But now, we don't have that issue because we have a TJ Clemmings, a Tyrus Thompson, and Anthony Shepard. I think overall this could actually work out because the fact that we did draft 3 that can possibly play. Well, I'm going to say 2 because I really think Shepard's going to end up moving to guard. But that we have 2 guys that can play his position. One of them being a 4th rounder that had 1st round talent. I think Clemmings will push both offensive tackles, both bookends, and Loadholt and Kalil, because he does have that 1st round talent. Obviously, Loadholt approaching the back 9 of his career, and Kalil not being very consistent. They can both be expendable at this point. So, and that's all I really have to say upon my reflections. So, farewell. Next time we shall see.